Futures. First thing, futures. Futures were bouncing. I did not bother to check the reason why they were bouncing, but it. I think it was just the momentum that the futures were running up, and they kind of pushed up and ran up into the super trend here and started coming down. And this pattern we know every time goes up, hits resistance, and when they're oversold or sorry overbought, hits a resistance, comes right back into 5 8 in a inner Bollinger Band and hits the mean, and there we are stopping right now. I think this is, so we see here the RSI, even though the RSI is pushing up, but the average on the RSI is still pointing down. So I think this will still continue to the downside. Perhaps it will test the mean again, and then this time, if it comes back into the 24, 21, it will break the 21 and it will push down onto the lower inner Bollinger Band right about here, 4024. I believe this time around, I think it should break this 4024 and most likely push down into 4012. And this should be a good bounce point. It has 50 EMA, SMA, everything sitting here. So 4010 to 4012, we can look for a bounce around that number. And if you're trading immediately on the futures, this is how it would look like. However, this is still, I think there's a potential for this to go down. However, if it bounces around either the 5 or the 8, then we can see a push directly into 4068. I don't want to say that I'm plotting it right now, simply because the average on the RSI is coming down on both the regular and the high Kanashi candles. So I believe it's gonna hit 5, it's gonna hit 8, most likely start to push into 400, 4,000 here. That's my expectation. But people buying the dip, I have no idea why they're buying the dip. Maybe it's just some short covering or algorithmic buying or whatnot. However, people seem to can't stay out of that mindset that somehow the stock need to come back in. Give me a second, guys. All right. So again, I don't understand why people are buying. Maybe it's just because they're short covering. Maybe it's just the algorithms are buying. So whatever the reason, whatever it is, people are buying it. So am I a net buyer of this market? No, absolutely not. But am I playing the upside? Definitely yes. On Friday, I think I was playing Amazon and SPX with the upside during the first half of the session. I didn't get to trade much during the second half of the session, and yeah, I think the rally was pretty much there because Apple was bouncing and Apple was bouncing from no good levels. So that's why I'm thinking there is more to the downside on the markets. So here's what is happening with the futures. And I believe if it can cross here, 40, 45, 40, 46, then we're going to hit this number. Pretty much 40, 62 or something like that. And I don't believe it's going to go beyond this number. Even if the market pushes here right now, I don't believe it's going to go above this number. If it does come to this point, it will be a big fight. Hang on, guys. All right. And on the daily side of things, and this is where it was pretty much decided on Friday that's five, gonna go five, hit the 8. If it clears here, uh, there is there is enough ammo actually for it to clear, because the SMI is suggesting that we just crossed here and we made one green bar, perhaps one more green bar, and it will try to make, I think, another green bar. However, I'm looking at, because I'm kind of old school this way. I watched this guy, MACD. MACD is telling that the selling is subsiding here, right? We got a one pale green bar, two pale green bars, and looks like this is headed in the correct direction. So if it clears here, right here, 4035, I think a big this would be a big resistance about here, 4062 or something. However, if we can see it clearing above this, then we have a very good shot at 4120. Am I plotting the mean at the moment? Plotting a mean is sitting at 4177. Am I plotting it right now? I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really. I want to say yes, but that would be a stretch unless there is, there's something meaningful that I'm missing, just besides the charts. If there's something meaningful that I'm missing, or if of course, if institutions, under whatever pressure they start to buy, then there's no telling that if it's going to go, push the mean and clear the mean, perhaps push into this number again, 42, 43. However, that is not at all what I'm plotting. Here, 4038, if it can clear 4038, then this would act as major resistance. 4050 through 4060. This range will act as a major resistance, and if it clears there, then we'll probably look for a serious upside after that. We'll take the upside to a degree seriously, to push into 4177. For now, let's put this thing as a top, 4081, and 4064. And let's go here actually. If it clears this number, this is my base case to the upside, 4041, then I'll be looking for a push into 4069. Right, so this is how I want to play this. 4041 is my base case, then 4069 is the next number. However, if it clears there, then I'll be looking at 4082, and 4082 clears, then perhaps I'll start to look into this number, 4120. And if it enters this zone, yeah, of course, then we'll be hitting 4175. Right now, not plotting any of that. So this is my base case to the upside, 4141, 4041, and then this is my good to have, 4068. Beyond this, I'm not seeing it going beyond this. However, if it starts to go beyond this, we'll look for the upside better. Okay. The weekly chart, yeah, it is suggesting that there is still upside. The RSI is starting to go up. Fair enough. Fair enough. So this candle here itself, it was hitting the third standard deviation, so we knew kind of it will come back up. However, I was still in the camp that wanted to see the market push down further, perhaps into the 37 or something like that, or perhaps 38, but we did not get that. Uh, so I think tomorrow 4052 is pretty much sitting there. This the 100 on the weekly, this will be tested again. If we clear that, then we'll look for a test into 4120. But right now, as of now, I'm not plotting that. This is what I'm plotting right now. This is my, this will be tested to the upside, 4057, or whatever number this is. 100-day moving average on the weekly to the upside, it will be tested tomorrow. And a break above that, most likely, then we'll see what happens. 4080, somewhere around that, we need to meet this line. So right about here, 4080, right about here. I think we should meet this line. Let's see how that goes. And VIX. So if VIX starts to come back in, I think this is where it should head 28.57. Uh, and I think ephemeral bounce here. Then if it starts to break down here, then I'm looking for a test of 27.67. And if it breaks below there, I'll start to look for a push into 25.55. Right now, this is what I want to see. 28.57 and then break below that hit of 27.67. We'll take into consideration VIX to the downside. If at all, VIX can start to push below 27.29 or something like that. And let's see VIX here. Yep. So this downward push on the VIX, this is still intact, and I think it will keep pushing lower. Right now, it is hitting the mean and starting to bounce, and I think this time it will come back and test the mean again. And the break below there, this is a very solid level it is sitting on. So if it breaks below 28.85, then start to push into 27.84. And if it comes back in there, then we can look for a downside into 26.90 or something, 26.70 or something like that. So this is how I'm looking at VIX. VIX is still pointing down. So let's see. We need to see the break below the mean actually, right? If VIX breaks below the mean and then starts to push down here, 27 something like that, then we could meaningfully, look at further downside on the VIX. And here, MACD is about to cross on the VIX. Right? So this is another reason I'm looking for this rally to continue. If MACD crosses below here and we can start push down on VIX, generally MACD is a very good indicator of long-term trend. So if it crosses here, then we'll continue to look for a push down on VIX. One red bar, two red bar, maybe three red bars. So then after that, we'll see what happens. Cool thing. And this guy, let's look at this guy. And this asset class, crypto. So this asset class, I am kind of looking for, uh, not looking for, but for the sake of, the broader, uh, you know, broader picture. I think I think crypto needs to stabilize. This thing needs to stabilize. Just like people in the institutions who are looking to buy crypto, I think they need to step in and artificially try to stabilize this thing. However, I still believe there's room to the downside after whatever it does here. If it can push into this 34,200 number, even after that, I think I'll still be looking for a push down here into this number, 22. But hopefully this gets stabilized uh, in in the and and probably push into 34 something. If it does, in fact, start to come up according to technicals, if it start to push up, and this candle generally is believed to be a bullish candle, a candle like this, and this sort of a candle is generally believed to be a bearish candle, right? Why is that? Again, it's not a rule of thumb at all. So this candle is supposed to be a bearish candle, and this candle is supposed to be a bearish candle. After that, we got two more bullish candles. So none of that means anything. However, just in case, if somebody is looking at things, this is considered to be a bullish candle. Why? Because after the open somewhere around here, it pushed all the way through down here, then it came back up, right? So that's the reason. That means even though there were sellers to it, but buyers stepped in and pushed the price up. So there is some demand here. So let's see if the demand is true, artificial, or whatnot. And I don't believe it's organic. It is just technicals that played out. It stepped out of its third standard deviation and it was pulled right back in. So let's see, it is sitting right now at second standard deviation. I want to see it push into 34,000 here and then start to push back down. I think that's how it's going to go. For now, let's see if it actually goes back into 34,000. If it does, it's not going to be in a straight line. And yeah, so this is how I markets should have done this. because Bitcoin did it because markets were closed for 2 days, or else we'd have been seeing the same kind of pattern in the markets, like what we are seeing in BTC. So hit of five, hit of eight. It is struggling at eight. The RSI is see it coming down. However, the average is still pointing down, still pointing up. So here, this is a true average. The RSI is still pointing up. The average is still pointing up, and the price is still pointing up. However, I'm watching this here, right? So MACD is saying, the histogram is saying that the selling is subsiding for whatever reason. I don't know. Institutions are stepping in, or pressure from the. Uh, I don't want to use the word government because I don't know. However, if 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 uh, if somebody, as though somebody has asked institutions to step in and say, stabilize this thing. So that's what I see. I kind of think that's what is happening. And however, if you see the technicals here, this got pulled in pretty deep. Anytime that you see this, we understand this thing. The crossover happens, we get at least one, two, three, right? And we got more than that. However, the price is actually coming down here. But I want to see this sustained into this number, 33, and then perhaps push into 33.9, and then most likely push into 34. So 34.5 is where the mean is sitting. And if it can clear the mean, then we're looking for a shot into 36. Am I plotting that right now? No, I'm not. There is enough fear in the market. Retail is steering very, very, very clear of all of this risky asset classes. Now it's people who bought in at like 10,000 or whatnot, or those diamond handlers. I don't know why anybody would want to be in crypto as of now. Why would anybody want to hold crypto? I have no freaking idea. But if anybody is, that's who the people are. Right now, if I had to venture a guess, these are probably the people who bought in like 5,000, 10,000 when it was uh, when it was 5,000, 10,000, or the trades are being made by the institutions. That's what is happening. Like MicroStrategy or all these big names, whoever are involved in crypto, those are the guys who are fighting this out. Retail, I think, is pretty much uh, crushed like a cockroach, if you will. That's what has happened to retail in crypto land. At least in stocks, if you have the longer vision, like 5, 10 years, like in your 401ks or whatnot, you would be you might sustain, right? You might sustain if your horizon is 5 to 10 years. Yeah, you might sustain. Otherwise, crypto is pretty much the retail is done, and I don't believe the retail is going to come back so soon into crypto. Even if they do, they will be crushed. I think it will still push down into this number. So that's pretty much it about crypto. And I think I at least want to see crypto stabilize. I want to see it run. Will that happen? Or if it breaks above 8 successfully, then yeah, there's a good shot. And the MACD, I'm watching MACD. MACD keeps, trying to come back in. If MACD crosses over here, then we can look for a push into this number here. Now let's go back into this guy, Apple. Is the markets open for this? Yeah. So before Apple, let's talk a little bit about this one. 10 year. 10 year, I would ideally want to see keep pushing higher. And I've been harping on this thing for quite a bit. And ideally, I want to see 10 year pushing higher. This is, not cool. This push down. This is a technical push down, of course, but this is not okay. This is not okay. Uh, and not just if you're a Fed economist, this will give you jitters. This will give you jitters. You don't want to see this thing happening. This means this means a certain recession. That's what this means. This thing comes down, keep coming down into this number. Yeah, then it's definitely that means Fed has lost the control of this number. We definitely don't want to see that. How much ever we don't like the Fed, how much ever we think Fed is um, behind the curve, uh, doesn't matter what. We don't want to see this happening. Ideally, I want to see 10-year push up above 3 and stay close to 3.2 or something like that. 3.2, 3.5, 3.25. That's where I want to see the 10-year. And next FOMC, I don't know when that is, but I think in June, I don't know. Whenever that is, whenever I think they want to raise those interest rates by another 50 bips, I want to see 10-year push into 3.5 to 3.75. That's where I want to see this thing go. And as long as the 10-year keeps chugging along to the upside, uh, the more we can keep recession at bay, the technical recession at bay. Uh, and and uh, and I think, of course, the tech will take a hit if a 10-year keeps pushing higher. That is good. Uh, that might be bad in the short run, but that is good for the long run. I still maintain my outlook like that. Uh, yeah, it will crush. It will crush our 401ks and whatnot. But I think that is good if you don't want to lose, next 2 to 3 years. And another thing, I think I was just posting in the main chat this afternoon about the GDP numbers, and Al was posting something. So I think, according to the banks, according to the major banks at least, they are still seeing GDP, even though they are seeing GDP numbers come down, but they are still seeing a positive number for the next quarter. I believe that they'll be forced to cut down on their numbers, especially going into Q3. However, by the time that happens, I think that government will come in with some sort of a major spending plan, maybe infrastructure spend or whatnot. They have to do it. They have to do it, or else the unemployment picture would start to look dire, and that would be a spiral. We don't want to go down that road. So somehow they need to spend some money to keep the ball rolling. And they cannot, if they miss on that, you know then we are looking for a different then we are looking at a different set of problems, right? We don't want the unemployment to go above a certain number. If that happens, then yeah, there'll be, the spending will take a hit. If the spending takes a hit, we all know what happens. So we don't want to go down that path, and I'm pretty sure every economist understands that. Pretty simple. So they might let the unemployment run a little bit higher, but then not too high. If they do let it go too high, then it would be really difficult to put a clamp on that number. Right, and yeah, let's go now into this guy, Apple. So Friday, this is where Apple reversed. I was looking to short. I was short 2 weeks out. My puts were 2 weeks out, and I wanted to see Apple hit this number. Came pretty close, but still couldn't hit this number. I closed out my puts, and markets reversed, and ran all the way to 147 or whatnot. And my understanding was that it's going to go hit this number and stop somewhere around here. Then it cleared that number and started to push up. Fair enough. Now, what next? I still believe there is downside to the market. I still believe Apple will come back in at least $10 and most likely, maybe stabilize somewhere around here or maybe push down to 130s or something. But let's so that's my understanding, and I'm still expecting that to happen. But let's see what is in the short term here. So this is the rally that happened, and the day before, I think Friday evening, we were looking at this doji, and we were saying, okay, this is an indecision, and we're going to push higher from here. And this is still not achieved. So my base case to the upside is 148.78 or whatever the 5 will represent here, 148.66, whatnot. So if it clears here, then we are looking for a push into 151. But this is my base case, and there is, I think, we got one green bar here and one pale red bar here. So I think one more pale red bar will get that, and I'll be watching this MACD. If the MACD crosses, then we are looking again. We are looking for a push into 158. So we all know the importance of Apple, and it just needs one more one more stock to rally with it. Most likely that would be Microsoft. So we got, SMI is curling here. SMI is curling and crossing to the upside. So we got a green bar here. However, on the Heikanashi, the average candles, we still haven't gotten that, but the climb is steady. So for tomorrow, this is my base case, 148.80, whatever this number is. If it clears there, then we're looking for a push into 151. As of now, this is where I want to stop, 148, whatever this 5 number is, wherever the 5 average is, that's my base case, and I don't want to plot anything beyond that. However, if it does go beyond that, then we are looking for a push into this number, 152. This will be a big resistance, and if it clears that resistance, I think this is where it is headed. The 50 on the weekly, 155.80. However, so let's see this number tomorrow, right? So the picture is clear. If it clears this number, 148.71, which is the 5, then we are looking for a push into the 8. That's how I want to play that. And it doesn't matter what the bigger picture says. So bigger picture, you got to always have at the back of your head saying that this is where how it's going to play out. However, you place your trades based on these charts, right? So based on these charts, you want to place your trades. And immediate number, this is what we're looking for. If it clears there, then this, then this. That's how I want to play that. And right here, it is clamped under this super trend. You want to see a break of this super trend to run into this super trend, right? But not in a straight line, of course. It will go hit this number, then it will go hit this number. And again, all of this would happen if VIX starts to go the way it is supposed to go per the technicals. Right. And the other one that we want to see is this guy. And we were correct almost, throughout the journey for Microsoft, all the way from 293 to 260s. And I still believe there is downside to Microsoft, perhaps into 230s or something like that, uh, because the monthly is still in a downward trend. So we want to see this complete. However, if you see the bars, the purple bars here, 1 bar, 2 bar, and not sure if you're going to get a third bar, but still, I would ideally want to see third bar and then perhaps one more bar, fourth bar. But let's see how it goes. We got 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bars here, and most likely, one more bar. That's what I want to see. But regardless, what we're going to see in the long run, uh, right here, I think this should go back. Oh, it actually went over that. All right. So after this is where it is headed, right? 277 or whatever this number, 274, this is where it is headed. And if you extend this line here, this is a super trend. It should act as some sort of a resistance. But am I playing that? So this is the bigger picture. But again, I want to play it just like that. 263.47, this is my base case to the upside. And if it clears that number, then we're looking for a push into 266. So right here, then if that clears, then we're looking for a push into this number. Will we get that? Uh, this usually we understand, whenever we see a candlestick which is detached from all of its moving averages, especially its 5. So we understand that it's going to go hit its 5 again. And if it clears for 5, then we're looking for a hit of 8. This is what we understand. And all the technicals were telling us that it is oversold. So we got one green bar. I'm looking for another green bar at least. And I'll be watching this guy here, right? I'll be watching this MACD lines to make a crossover. If it does, then we're looking for a push above. The and Microsoft is a much better buy than any other stock in tech. In tech, Microsoft is on any given rally, Microsoft is a buy. This is if I want to play the markets to the upside or the tech to the upside. This is the stock that I would. But if you're looking for high beta now names, there are plenty of high beta names right now, all the way from Snow to Adobe to Nvidia or whatnot. So all of those numbers are beaten down, or Docu for that matter. You could look for any of those. All of those stocks are beaten down. So you could pick up any of those and watch Apple and Microsoft and play any of those names. And this is the bigger picture. What I want to play is just like that, go down on the lower time frames and start to look for entries. Right here, it is sitting under this super trend right now. If it breaks the super trend, then we will look for a push into this number. And if it clears this number, then we are looking for a push into this number, 264 something. Here, I think it should take a breather and come back. If it takes a breather here, it should come back into this number again. And if it starts to push back up from here, and then it should clear this number, then we're looking for 264.66. That's how I want to play that. Why a breather? Simply because it is getting overbought here. Whole thing. And this is what we played on the other day. I think it was a pretty decent call day before. I think Thursday night in charting. I was looking for an upside. And why were we looking for an upside for Amazon? Same exact thing, right? And where is that? Right here. So exactly this is where we were charting for Amazon to break through this and push into this. And that's exactly what happened. It broke above the 5, hit the 8. And it was a pretty decent buy. I was not able to take advantage of the full move on Amazon. However, I got a good entry. I got a good exit from Amazon. Still, why were we looking for that? Again, all of this stuff. You see the pale red bars happening all the way here uh, on the MACD side of things, and that means the selling was subsiding, and we had all of these oversold conditions here, and the SMI was starting to cross over, and this guy, especially this guy, was pulled back so far that it had to take a breather and move up. That's what we see happening. However, this thing is a bit of concern that it just rocketed to the upside and just like that, and we don't want to see that typically, because what happens is if it runs like that and it will come back in, right? Even though the average is still pointing to the upside, it just because it ran up so hard, it will come back in. Usually that's what happens. However, if it clears here, I think there is still room to the upside for Amazon. And if you see Apple rallying, then Amazon will rally harder and start to push into 2460 or something like that. 200 points to the upside. Am I plotting this in a straight line? Obviously not. We will see how Apple behaves. Apple has a lot of resistance that it needs to climb. Usually, stocks like resistance, so that they can climb over them. So that's what we want to see happening. Uh, and I'll be if even if tomorrow I think I'll be trading first first couple of hours of the session, and I have some work that I need to take care of. Probably I'll be out around 12 or maybe 11, I don't know. Then I'll come back towards the end of the session, probably 2 hours, probably around, I don't know, 2 or 3. So I think this will continue towards the upside, And depending on how Apple behaves and depending on what Bitcoin does, I think there's still room to the upside. And I think in the AM, I want to play this thing to the upside, unless one caveat that the VIX has already taken a dip right in the morning, right in the pre-market session, then it starts to go back up during the regular session. So barring that, I want to play this to the upside. Now let's look into Tesla. Where is that Tesla? Right here. So with Tesla, this is the line we all knew that it's going to happen. And in fact, to be conservative, I was looking for 750. That broke, and we hit this number, pushed below that, and went all the way to this number. Good enough, I think. It's a good enough. It was a good enough push down, all the way from 900s, and when it was 900, we were looking for a push into 750. That was a good call, and we got better than that. So majority of the market participants were looking for this number. They got it. Now what? Here, the monthly, right? So we know how this thing goes by now. Everybody knows what happens here. Enters this number, tries to hit this band, and pushes below, and this is done now. Now what happens if it again comes back into this number after probably a push after whatever the bounce is happening, if it again starts to push into this number, and this time we are looking for a target of 600, right? And we are looking for a push into this super trend right here, 600 to 550, 580, whatever this is. This is what we're looking for next. On the next push down in the markets, this is what we're looking for. 590, 600. Then after that, we're looking for a push into 400. But that will happen whenever that will happen. For now, in the next downturn, this is what we're looking for. So that's the next downturn. What is next immediately? So this is where I think if it starts to push to the upside, then this is the number we are looking for. The black line, the 50 on the weekly. This is the number we are looking for to the upside. 850 to 860. If that clears, then we're looking for a push into 871. So $100, 100 points rally to the upside. Will that happen in a straight line? Of course not. So how do we trade it? Everybody knows we go to the lower time frames, and that's where we trade this. Here. So Tesla, right? And the daily is telling us right here 783. This is my base case to the upside. Could we take a look at UPST? Nice. So this is the number we are looking for the upside. That's my base case. And if that clears, we're looking for a push into 810, 811. If that clears, then we're looking for a push into 860s and 870s. Right now, am I plotting any of that? Nope. Right now, I want to see the clearance of 780, 781, the 5 on the daily. Then if that clears, 807 or somewhere around that. If that clears, then we'll start to look for the upside. However, we know on the larger time or higher time frames, we are looking for a push into this black line, right? And how do I want to place my trades? I want to go to the lower time frames. I'm looking for a push into most likely 783, then a clearance of 800. And I'll be monitoring the situation on the 1 hour. Obviously, it is getting overbought. So my immediate reaction would be for it to come into this mean. And this is where I want to plot my downside. If it breaks here, about 768 or whatever this black line is on the 1 hour, the 50, if it breaks below that, then I'm looking for a push into 759. That's my base case to the downside. Then a good to have would be 748. If that breaks below that, 740 is where I'm looking for it to collect. And actually don't want to, this would be a little bit of micromanagement if I go down into below 15 minutes or whatnot. But if you are someone who likes to scalp, this is where you want to see you want to be seeing that. And this is the chart you want to be managing your trades on. Right now it is pinned down under this 200 moving average. You want to see a clear break above that, then a push into 779. And probably you might want to exit this trade here, and probably it will take a breather. Then you want to put the trade on again. So that's how you want to play that game. All right. Anything else? UPSD. Let's say UPSD. I am still involved in this thing. My buy is 47. Those 100 shares. I have no idea why I'm holding that for, but I'm still holding that. Not that I don't have an idea, but the reason that I'm holding that trade is because I I don't have an exit plan for that. That's the simple reason. So that means I just bought it. I don't know what to do with it. I don't have an exit plan for that. That's the reason I did not sell it. I did not add to it. Even though it went down, I could have added it. It had a 10-point rally, whatever. So I had no clue. I was just behaving like everybody else in the market, just a typical retail person. So, yeah. So, not a good strategy. Did not have an exit plan even when I was buying it. I had no exit plan for it. I just bought it. I'm holding it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. However, whatever happens, I know I'm going to come out with profit. That that I know for sure. So let's see how. Whoa, look at that damn thing. Whoop. All right. So I think it started to climb here. Good thing for us. We got a pale green bar, pale red bar here. Maybe one another pale red bar should put me on the exit path. If it continues here, 43.65 is where it is headed. This is not a short covering rally. This is perhaps earnings were decent. The outlook was not okay, but the outlook did not, warrant for this kind of a sell-off. It just did not. From $80 to $20, nope, this was not sustainable. This sell-off was not sustainable. Even if the numbers that they say they are hitting, even whatever the numbers they're saying that they're projecting for the next quarter, that is still doesn't justify this sell-off. So based on that, I think even a firm came up with good earnings, and a firm ran what 30% or something. I think it was 40%. So yeah, I think it should push up. Again, all of this will depend largely on how Apple would behave. And most likely, I think towards the open itself, 43.65 would happen. Then a breather from there. Then if 45, whatever this 5 clears here, then we're looking for a test of 8 on the daily, 51 or 52, somewhere around that number. Am I plotting that right now? Most likely not. I want to see a test of 43.65 and break above that, and then we'll look for this number. This is the bigger picture. Would I be playing UPSD like that? Most likely not. And again, I'll go back down on my lower time frame. What am I seeing for UPSD? Right here, I'm seeing this would be my base case then. 4069 would be my base case, and then if it clears the 4069, the mean, then I'll be looking for a push into 4689. And this is my chart, 1 hour chart. It cleared. Wow, how did I miss all of this? Okay, Friday I was busy with something else, right? Cool. So yeah, so cleared here, then we're looking for a push into this number. Not in a straight line. Of course, this is overbought here, and it needs to come back into if it's 5. This is on a hourly time frame. So 5, 8, then most likely if it breaks below 8, then we're looking for a push into 35, 36. Then this is where the mean is sitting, 35, and should be a good bounce spot. And if the market rallies, I think it will come back into 8 right here, 37.42. It should bounce off of this number right here. Good thing it cleared the 50 on the 1 hour. That's a positive sign. Positive sign. So this is where I would go down to manage my trade or get an entry. And it's been in an uptrend right here. So I'm expecting this pattern to continue. Right? Gets overbought, pushes down, gets overbought, pushes down. I mean, gets resolved and still again push down, push up. So gets overbought, gets resolved, push up, gets overbought, push down, gets resolved, and push up again. That's how I want to see it go. Cool thing. What's the chart chat saying? I'm muted. I'm not muted. Okay. Good evening. Good evening, Ron. Vic, Inverse Jim Cramer. Retail investors are continuing to buy the dip in tech. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna catch this next 100-point move on Tesla. Nice. You look good. Yep, yep. I'll play puts every day till I catch that. Nice. Home Depot. Yes, we'll go through that. Apparently, sell for a loss is not an exit plan. Nope, nope, nope. SPY, SPX. Sorry, SPY, SPX. Forgot. How did I forget that? All right. Before I get into SPX, let's go into what was the other one? Home Depot, and what was the other one? Yeah, there's Home Depot. I think this is it will test 300 again. I believe it's going to test 300 again. And if it starts to push, if the market, the broader market starts to push below, then I think this time it's going to go down to 260. However, for now, let's clear the let's test this 300 again. And then if it clears there, then we're looking for a push into 305. That's a bigger picture. Uh, yeah, this thing kind of pushed up and looking for a hit of the mean here, 301. And if it breaks above 301, so 301, is that my base case? Nope, that's still not my base case. However, if you want to look at the bigger picture, this is where it is headed. Why? Because it has entered this zone here. So the theory says if it enters this zone, the inner lower Bollinger Band, then there's a good chance of it hitting the mean. And if it hits the mean, there's a good chance of it hitting this number, the upper inner Bollinger Band. So if it has entered this zone, then we're looking for a push into 301.62. But this is how I want to be playing it, and this is how I want to be looking for entries right about here. So if I can get a good entry based on VIX, if it comes back into this number 294 or something, or even if it can come down into 293, then I'll be looking for an entry. However, be mindful that 289 is the mean on the hourly, and if the markets start to push down for whatever reason, if VIX starts to push up, break up, then Home Depot would be one of the ones that will start to push down. And most likely, it will come back into this number 292 or something. Then if we can catch a break here, then we can look for a push above the 292 and probably 294 or 295, then push into this number 299. So my base case to the upside is this 29. No, 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 not the base case. Let's go back in here. And this should be my base case 298. 298 should be my base case. And look at this thing, right? You see this thing coming down. So if it starts to push down, then look for an entry here, 293. This is my base case to the downside, and this is my good to have to the downside, 292. And I'm looking for a bounce here. So that's to the downside, and to the upside, this would be my base case, 298. If it clears there, then I'll be looking for a push into here, 299. This is good to have. If it clears there, then we're looking for 302. However, this is my base case, 298. This is my good to have, about 299.15. If it breaks above that, 302 is where I'm looking for it to go. Okay, that's fine. Mm, Index. Yes. Cool thing. So SPX, for now, I think the downside is kind of paused. For now, I think it's okay to not look for downside. By the way, we were just looking for this number on the ES. We got that one. So if it breaks below there, then we're looking for a push into 39.80 something. However, I want to see an ephemeral bounce to push into 40.20. Whoa, we just got a sell signal here. Yeah, look at that thing. Anyway, so SPX, if it comes back in, this is what we're looking for. 40, 40, 40, 50 or something like that. And if it clears above that, then we're looking for a push into 41.65. That's a big picture. Now let's go back into the daily. And for the daily, so this is where, this is the doji. So based on this doji, we were looking for upside on Thursday. So we got this thing on Friday, hit of eight, hit of six, hit of eight. Now, if it clears there, then we are looking for a push into a sustained push into 41.26, right? So this is what we want to see, ideally, 41.30, whatever this number is. And if it enters this zone, 4,200, somewhere around, the mean is somewhere around 4,200. Are we looking for 170 points rally, 108.80 points rally? Probably not. That would be a stretch. However, uh, the average is just starting to push up. So even though if this thing comes back down, the RSI comes back down, just because the average is still looking up, so we could look for a rally, maybe later half of the session, or perhaps a day after tomorrow as well. And I'll be keeping an eye on the MACD lines. If the MACD crosses above, then we could look for a sustained rally. Right? When I say rally, that is a relative. This. Uh, Remember this thing right here, the rally. Okay? This was a vicious rally to the upside. Not looking for anything like this now. Uh, People are totally psyched out of their mind. And if this kind of rally takes over, I don't know what to say then. However, I'm not looking for that sort of a rally. If the numbers, start to push up for whatever reason, then we are looking for a push into 4,200. Short covering might happen, and then might be there might be some Fed officials coming out and saying that we're gonna land soft landing. We're gonna come up with some sort of scenario, soft landing, yada yada yada, and the institutions looking to buy whatever for whatever reason, right? If it starts to push up, then we're looking for a push into mean. Well, I don't want to be the guy who would buy the market and buy and hold. Not happening with me. I would still be, if the market rallies, I would still be the guy who would buy it and probably exit all the positions towards the end of the day. Doesn't matter what. If it's a passive position, maybe I'll look to hold it. But if it's an active position, there is no freaking way I'm gonna hold any of my positions into the next day unless I clearly know what's going to happen. I am not holding on with any positions. And getting overbought, oh sorry, oversold, push into five, push into eight. It hasn't entered the zone here. If it does actually enter the zone, then we are looking for a push into 40.73. But this is where I would be looking for guidance right here. So towards the end of the day, I think towards the later half of the session, I was looking at the markets. It's not that I wasn't. I was looking at the market, but I was in the other chat, and I was clearly monitoring VIX and stuff. Although I was not in any trade, and we were looking for this rally here when the VIX was coming down. So I want to see a clear push above the 50. The black line is the 50 on the 1 hour. I clearly want to see that cleared. So this is where my upside, base case to the upside, 40, 36, 40, 35, whatever it is. I want to see that happen. So that's my base case to the upside. If that clears, which is 40, 36 or whatnot, and this is where right now the futures are struggling to clear this number, right? Futures, while you were talking, the futures were here and then the futures pushed down. So if the markets were to open, the markets would be somewhere around here or 9 or something like that. So if it breaks here, then the pattern is indeed intact. Then we are going to go test this number, the 8, around 4,000. If that breaks, we are pushing down into 39.87. The mean is sitting at 39.68. Then we are looking for a push into 39.48, and then perhaps push into this number right about here, 39.05. Let's round that up to 3900. So as of now, my base case is this, 4037, and my good to have would be here, 4075. If it crosses above this line, then we'll look for a serious upside. Rather, I would look seriously for an upside, not serious upside, but seriously, I would get serious about an upside there. Then, probably we'll push into this number, 4100, and then probably into this number. But as of now, this is my base case. This will act as serious resistance, and if it clears there, then we look for upside. To the downside, this is my base case would be right here, 4,000 to the downside, and if that breaks, we are looking for a good to have of about 39.69 or whatever, 39.68. And if it breaks below there, then we're looking for a push into 39.50. That's how I want to play SPX. Take profits no matter what. Yep, yep, yep. 100%. It doesn't matter what, take profits. You can put on the same trade again a little later. This is another stock that I was looking into, uh, and I think there's an upside into 172. So I want to play this stock. Snow. I want to be trading Snow. Of course, for any of this to materialize, Apple needs to push up. Snow, I want to see 163. Uh, and if it actually can enter this zone about 163 or 164, then we are looking for a push into 170, 150. That's how I want to see this happening. And again, this is the bigger picture, and this is where I would go down to put on a trade. And this would follow the markets exactly where SPX is right now. If it breaks below 156 here, then we're looking for a push down into 154.50, and then perhaps come into 151, and then perhaps test this 148.56. The black line will act as serious support here. If it breaks below there, 145, and we are looking for a push into 141. So this is one of the trades that I want to put on, depending on how Apple and broader market behave. Of course, broader markets would behave most like Apple do. So I want to watch Apple, the broader markets, and then place Snow, uh, whichever way that breaks. Okay. Anybody, any other comments, concerns, data points? How to trade crypto? Anything? Uh, Adobe. It's been a while that I've seen Adobe.
Darth, how's the crypto scam going? Good return
We're
so far.
we're doing exceptionally good on that, actually. Actually, we're
That's
doing
awesome.
ex.
I'm rooting for
But
you
now,
guys.
yeah, it's. I mean, I've signed out. No, the thing is that I want to see this. These gains are paper gains. No, Clayton, that hasn't been resolved yet. It's still the same way. So, three, three. Right, the gains are there. It is working great. Uh, right now, we are hitting about. This is the original, and we have made about 45 plus, uh, close to 10% on this. We are at $5,000 on gains. This is 45, and this is the new one coming up, and there is about another 300 sitting here. So 45 plus 6, 50, 5,000 something. So we are hitting 10% on that. The plan is there, the plan is working, the math is working. However, there's a problem with this whole thing that the gains are not realized until we get it out of into the bank account. So that's where we are stuck. Otherwise, it's going great. Up, 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 up. All right. Anybody, any concerns, comments until the staking is over to see if it's legit? No, no, no. Uh, so I think there's something happening with the platform itself. So they are not letting people, get their funds out of that. That was the 50K. Yeah, yep. Swapnex and CodPS both. So this account is the 50K account. That this is the pool that we all managed to get 50K. But my personal account, my two withdrawal requests were rejected. I think there's a limit of $100. So I have tried to again, get $100 out of it, and that is still pending. So let's see. Well, we knew the risks going in, so I'm okay there. It's not that somebody we fell into it or something. Somebody sweet talked us into that. None of that. We knew the risks, and we knew going right before going into this that we are walking into a shit storm. We knew that. So outcome was never certain, and just like I mean, for me, uh, you know, I have to keep taking those risks, until yeah, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. That's how I took my trading. It worked out. This thing did not work out. So far at least. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop taking risk. Nope. Next risk is just around the corner. Whatever risk that is, I don't know what would that be, what shape form it would be. I will take that risk again, and try to manage that risk, and try to grow. It's no different than any other business for that matter. Yep, yep, yep. So now, we are taking tiny baby steps into creating our own sort of a, CodPS or SwapNext. We are looking into APIs and whatnot. If anybody has any understanding with, dealing with APIs, or if you know somebody who deals with APIs, do contact me. Uh, we can, at least we will try to bring, try to build something. So that's the idea for now, at least. Futures are back into. Ooh, look at that, 4,000. Futures should stabilize somewhere around here when it hits this number, 4,000, right about here. And ephemeral bounce, and then after that ephemeral bounce, I think we are bound towards this number, 39.89. And if it were the SPX, then you could have gone short right here when it was breaking this number, or when it was your orb. People say orb whatnot, and this is what they're talking about. Basically 8 below 21, and when you see 8 below 21, generally this is where people take a bearish position for it to push down. And if it breaks below a major moving average, they'll start to expand their position and start to look for certain bounce points. And that's how you trade that. That's how you manage your trade. Same to the upside. The orb. This is to the downside. Orb, breakdown. So if this were to, if you were to reverse the scale on this, where is that? Reverse the scale. Anybody can tell me how to reverse the scale on this? There it
Invert scale.
goes. Yeah, invert. You're right
Invert
there.
scale.
So there you go. Yep. If you're looking for the break up, this is what is orb strategy that you will. When you have 8 crossing above 21, this is where you want to go long. And when it clears a major moving average or whatever major resistance is, this is where you want to scale. Or you can put a major trade right here, and then the moment it is hitting right here, you would want to scale out of that position and leave your runners right here. So this is how you want to plot. What's the gap on SPY tracks out from 12? Historically always fills. Yep, Hidart, you said SPY is for cheap, but it's true that SPX is basically big. Yep, yep, yep. That's true. That's just basically, one more number.
Yes, it is. All the way down to 394 on SPY.
Dang. So tomorrow I'll be looking to exit that UPST thingy. Maybe put on just a major trade on that, and maybe day after tomorrow, I'm gonna fund my that trading. What is that account? Trade fast. Forgetting TOS. What is that thing? Trade fast with super keys, hotkeys, and whatnot. Active Trader. God, why can't I remember that?
I was
So
about to say active trader, Darth.
yeah,
You
yeah. So
explained
I'm
it in
gonna.
every way except the specific definition.
I know. I
It
know. I know.
it may take a
So I'm
few
gonna be
days, Ron.
funding that. Huh? They're saying my spy puts have a chance. Yeah, you might get that. Yep, yep. So I'm gonna fund my account. That wow, look at that. As we were speaking, it went down. That TOS account, and probably about 25K or something, so that I don't have to worry about the buying power running out on me. And probably day after tomorrow, I'll be live trading on that with that hotkeys set up. The futures you're watching right now is live. Yes, this is live data. Uh, and yeah, so I'll be trading live on that. I'll be trading, with the hotkeys. I want to be doing just like what that COT or SwapNext does. Just make those 1%, 2% to 10% exit. Just get in, get out, get in, get out. And that's the reason I want to fund my account so that I'm not running out of buying power. That's the plan for next week. And I would If anybody wants to, yep, yep. If anybody wants to set up that hotkeys and whatnot, if you see if you like what am I trading and how am I doing it, then just we'll have a session probably later in the week sometime on maybe Thursday or something, uh, that everybody whoever uses TOS can get the same setup and probably trade the same way. It's not that hard. Trust me on that. It's not that hard. Neither the setup is that hard, and you guys know this for a fact that 1%, 2% on a trade is given our technicals, the technicals we follow. That's just those trades are there all the time. 1%, 2% trades are sitting there. It's that we look for a higher upside and whatnot, and we see our green trade go red. Yeah, I don't want to do that happen. Don't want to see that happen. Straight up, get in, get out, get in, get out. That's what I want to do. 1%, 2%, 5%. That's pretty much it. And we have seen the now. Now that I've seen how the small profits add up. So yeah, why not? Why not? I can do that same thing in the markets day in day out. And I'm gonna go get a keyboard tomorrow, an extra keyboard. So that thing will be a yeah, it's gonna be awesome now. If you plan to short equity, you'll need to request margin. Not sure if you have already. No, no, I switched that to the cash account, and I will put in. Yeah, really no, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get that one that makes really sounds. I like that sounds. I used to, I used to be a software guy at one point in time. I like those. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So and I don't know if you guys experience that thing, but when you type in something fast and you're looking for results, you hit that enter key really hard. It makes really that sound, affirming sound. All right, guys. So let's wrap it up here at ES around 4,000. I'm still looking for a push down into this number. Whether we get that or not, that's a separate issue. But yeah, still looking for that.